Alrighty, Legend Crew. Welcome back to another episode of Legend Ethics Shared Dreams. This guest star over here is Sofia Grace.
Hi.
We were in the same acting studio for a little while. And Scott Stewart from 2 episodes ago, we were in a film project together as well. So I haven't seen her in a couple years, and we met on set for Scott's project, and we started talking, and she's been working on a lot of stuff, so I wanted to get her on this episode. And so let you take it over and say who you are, where you're from, stuff like that.
Yeah. I am from Northern California. I grew up actually all over the place. So I was born in Hawaii and in the Big Island of Kona. And I grew up in Northern California for the most part. We moved around a little bit in between. And I went to a Waldorf school there. So it was really focused on like the arts and acting and a lot of Shakespeare. So yeah, that was super fun.
Well, very cool. Well, so I mean, when did you make the move to LA to go into acting?
So I actually...
Or how did that come about?
Yeah, I made the move to LA after spending a lot of time in North County, San Diego. I was in Encinitas, and I was working in restaurants. So working in the kitchens in restaurants.
Oh, okay.
And the front of the house a little bit. So I learned a lot about food and beverage there. Mm-hmm. And my cousin was in LA, and she was living with her boyfriend, and we wanted to move in together and just like start something fresh and new and fun, and that's what it was. And so I just moved up to LA and lived with her, and I actually wasn't focused on acting at the time. I was just in an in-between stage. So
I can't believe you moved to LA. I mean, if not for acting, I mean, because it's so expensive out here. But
yeah, it really is.
If you're looking for adventure, it's definitely the place to be.
Yes,
for
definitely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even just because right now we're in Hermosa Beach, but if you go up the street about 15 miles up to Santa Monica, it's a completely different vibe. You go to Venice, you go to downtown, you go to Hollywood. It's
totally different.
I mean, LA just encompasses so much.
Absolutely. And I knew nothing about LA when I moved here, so I was super fresh.
Well, I mean, it's worked out for you so far because, as I was saying, she's been doing a lot of stuff. So other than acting, what else are you working on as well? Let's go into that a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm launching a company called Green Heart Market, and so it's based on a brick and mortar that my family had in the 90s. It was just a little health food store, but the focus was on providing organic, natural products and food that weren't really pretentious about what we were selling. We were kind of like, this is the way things should be. Yeah. And we wanted to provide that. But it was a little before everybody was really concerned about all of those products, and before it was booming as it is today. So I'm bringing that online in an e-commerce format, but also just celebrating Earth Conscious community and what everybody has to offer within that and showcasing that.
That's really cool. Yeah. So, I mean, you said you're working on the website right now as well. When do you suspect things will be starting to launch with all that?
Ooh, my goal is before the holidays this year, but we'll see.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, I'm going to start out pretty small with a small inventory and just grow from there.
Okay, very cool. And sorry about the little kids. We have we're at a park right now, so we have. Yeah. But it sounds like they're pretty excited about her business as well. So
the future.
we'll go with that.
Yeah.
And so with acting, let's talk about that then. What have you been kind of working on with that?
Well, I've been in class. Obviously, we've shared Ivana together, which has been really amazing. And I've learned a lot about life and acting, a lot about myself, which I've given to my acting. Yeah. So project-wise, a lot of indie projects, indie films, indie shorts, pilots, web series, working with a lot of people from class. A lot of collaboration with Scott, and we did a short just together that should be coming out soon, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fall. Yeah, Scott. 2 episodes ago, as he said, it's about 3/4 done. So we're excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
She plays a band member, and she's dancing away and stuff like that in the football field. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, that was a really hot day.
Oh
and
my God.
You had an eye patch with your bow, which is super fun. Yeah.
And we were trying to march in line for the ending credits of the film. Yeah. And it was funny because I couldn't see out of my, I mean, obviously it's covered with an eye patch, but not only that, but it messed up my peripheral vision and also my depth perception. And so I couldn't, we were trying to stay in line, and I'm like trying to not look over with my good eye, but it was just,
Yeah,
But that was-
trying to stay in sync,
Yeah.
making each other laugh, but trying to stay serious.
Yeah, but it was a good time, and it was good seeing you
Yeah.
guys again, because we also met up with Keenan as well. And I haven't seen Keenan in forever, so I'm going to be doing an episode with him as well. And
Yeah.
because that's, as you said, you meet so many awesome people in class.
Definitely.
And
Yeah, just collaborating and working with everyone. Like we did a Fringe Festival play last year at the Stephanie Fury Studio Theater, and that was super fun.
Yeah.
Good by Charles, yeah. A lot of different characters in that.
yeah, and I mean, as you said, I mean, Ivana, she definitely brings out the best in you. That's 100%, without a doubt. I mean, she pushes you and
She
pushes
does.
you to that nth degree. And so to do that with other actors in the class, you kind of know what these other actors are bringing to the table.
Exactly.
You know you're getting quality actors
Yeah.
brought into your project as well. So that's why it's
Yeah.
always fun to do collaborating works with each other and
Yes,
stuff like that. Because you
absolutely.
know what you're getting.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
it's not like, I don't know, I mean, it's not like a surprise gift box or something like that, and you're wondering what's going to be in there,
Yeah,
hoping it's something good, and you're disappointed with what you get. So,
Yeah, it's not like you're even, auditioning. It's
Yeah.
not like when you audition for something, it's like you could do, if it's a tape, you have a lot of takes that you can do, and that's not necessarily the person that's showing up. It's hard to understand people's essences
Yeah.
if you don't know them or have worked with them before, so
yeah.
it's cool.
So then let's talk about, like, how did you get into acting? What kind of
Okay.
inspired that? How did you?
Wow, yeah. So just growing up at Waldorf, like I mentioned, in Northern California, every year we did a Shakespeare play. So we worked with a coach that really focused on the drama and putting on these productions. And that was amazing and really a great foundation. And then I also did ballet growing up, so that just like being on stage all the time and being in touch with your body and being in front of an audience, a live audience, theater is so awesome, and I love it. And then transitioning to film and working with Ivana and other projects has been really neat.
Well, what's funny is because we're both talking about being very introverted, and so it's funny. I mean, we don't necessarily have problems being on camera. I mean, for film and stuff like that, which is so it's kind of weird. I mean, it's
Yeah,
I think it kind of translates. Sometime you're gonna see it in this episode. It's like that awkward.
Yeah, just kind of like say no.
But yeah, I mean, but that's the
Yeah.
great thing about, I mean, like with Ivana's teaching too, and I think that's probably why we have like the passion for acting, is that she makes the technique just so cathartic in a sense that it's.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're introverted in our real day-to-day lives, through her technique, it gives us an opportunity to kind of like express feelings and stuff like that we can't really find in any other
Yes.
avenue to express it with, and so it
It's
kind of just
true.
gets all bottled up, I guess.
Yeah, and then when it comes out and you're in the moment and you get into the zone, it's like the best feeling, and
It is.
you keep going back for that. You know?
Yeah.
That's what keeps me going back. Just being in the present and just celebrating acting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
In the character.
Well, I mean, it's cool that it seems like you've been doing it for a while. I mean, since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Which is great, because I mean, I'm definitely a late bloomer. Scott's film, late bloomer. That's what it's called. I'm definitely a late bloomer in that regard.
Yeah.
So it's awesome that it's been a passion that you've been able to keep alive. I
Yeah.
mean, since your childhood. Which
Yeah,
is
I
awesome.
took a little break for a while, but getting back into it was really neat. I think sometimes you take breaks from things because you're not sure about them, and then you kind of have like full circle, like back to what really resonates with your heart and soul, and you have to, at least for me, I have to pursue those things with my life. Otherwise, I feel like, what's the point,
Yeah. I mean, that deep passion, I mean, it almost, it feels like it gives your life purpose. in every
Absolutely,
way,
yeah.
You know?
And I have to have a purpose-filled life.
Yeah.
Because I've lived both, just like working and kind of like getting into the mundane aspects of surviving, which is really easy to do in this city.
Yeah.
But then, like, once you do something that makes you feel alive, you have to continue down that road,
Definitely, 100%. I mean, so that's kind of going into the question of, I mean, what's kept you motivated?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, but any other kind of aspects that have like kept you motivated going into obviously a very difficult career choice?
It's very difficult. Yeah. I mean, talk about hustling.
Yeah.
I've done like every job you can imagine here. Like the list is super long. But just there are struggles like with the day-to-day of surviving, you know, in the city and pursuing acting. But the more you have the struggle, the sweeter the reward is when you do get that job and you're just like, wow, this is how hard I worked. And just like focusing on how that becomes your life and how you can tell that story, you know. So I'm working on that now, like with projects of my own that I want to develop, you know.
That's awesome.
Telling that story, yeah.
And so that, I mean, you're kind of answering the questions before I ask them. So with the obstacles, I mean, since you've kind of covered that a little bit, what has been your biggest obstacle then?
Biggest obstacle, wow. I think just pure survival, like paying your rent, you know, just like how do you get from job to job, like keeping the flow coming, but still saving time to do the projects that you end up booking, or you know, it's like that balance of saying no to your day-to-day work, which keeps you alive, to pursue your projects that you want to do. And sometimes it's a combination of getting paid to do that, and then you got to say no to your 9 to 5 or whatever you have, like a restaurant gig that I've had. So I've definitely risked a lot for the craft, you know.
I'd say that's a huge obstacle. That's definitely a huge obstacle. I mean, because first off, it is expensive, but it's also being able to, I mean, the way I see it is, I don't have a lot of things in life, but the things I do have, time and energy, those are the two most important things that I have in my life. And if anything gets in the way of my acting career, I mean, in terms of time and energy, if it's going to be a waste of my time and energy, cut that out. It's out of my life.
It can be scary, right?
Exactly. It can be scary, but I mean, it's prioritizing what's most important to you. I mean, because in the end, I mean, time is limited, energy is limited, so you can't be wasting that.
No.
So I mean, I'd say that's definitely a huge obstacle.
It is. Yeah. And also like having other people respecting your time and energy, and then understanding that and respecting other people's time and energy. And I feel that. And
so I appreciate you taking the time and energy to be out here.
And you for me, I'm very grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I mean, and then let's talk more about your Green Heart project. So what has been a big obstacle with that? I mean, because I mean, as you said, it is with society nowadays, we are more health conscious, and we are looking for the organic foods and the ethically made products of, I mean, we're talking about t-shirts, but also other products as well. So what has been a big obstacle trying to do that?
I think, there's a lot of obstacles that I faced with that. Everything from, feeling like at times that I need to defend why I feel the way I feel or have for a really long time, because it's intertwined with everything. It's, they're not separate things that I think a lot of times people look at them as being separate entities, as far as like humanity, the environment, how we treat our bodies, ourselves, and money that goes into all of that. And these myth busters sort of like people saying, oh, it's too expensive to do this and that, which can be true, but there's also ways of doing things that can circumnavigate all of that, you know. So I think the obstacle has been just launching something that has been a passion of mine that I stand for with my acting. Launching everything from like inventory to whether I'm going to keep inventory or be affiliate based, and sort of like how to structure the company to best serve what my passion is and not compromising too much in between, you know. So
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a loaded question. But we'll see some of those obstacles along the way.
But I mean, hopefully, like you said, launch before the holidays.
Yes.
So
yeah,
just a few months away. It's coming.
I know. A lot of pressure every day, working around the clock, you know.
Well, that's cool. I mean, because like you said, I mean, it's all based on ethics, which is another reason why. Because I had seen her post, I didn't really know too much about it, so that's why I really wanted to know more about it. But that's what really caught my eye, it's just the ethics portion of it, and which is such an elusive idea nowadays, but it shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't. Yeah,
you know,
it should be incorporated in everything.
in everything we do. I mean, we're by no means saints by any means. I mean, but it's something to strive for. It's like perfection or being a legend. You know, with or on the t-shirts, you know. it's anything that you'll ever achieve in your lifetime, but it's something to strive for, and that's what makes it legendary. That's what makes it perfect. You know, it's just the effort wholeheartedly pursuing that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I admire what you're doing. That's really awesome.
Yeah, we can all learn from each other, I think, in that aspect of how people can be legends and what makes them a legend.
Exactly. And it's not, I mean, pursuing to be, I mean, this lasting legend of any sorts. I mean, that's to each their own. I mean, that's why the mission statement is no matter your dream, do it wholeheartedly and your life is legendary. So it's essentially kind of like the book The Alchemist. It's pursuing your own personal legend.
Wow,
I mean,
that's great.
Which is your perception of being your own personal legend.
I love that.
I mean, what makes you who you are, and doing so ethically.
Yeah,
you know?
And I think that interconnects us all. So
exactly.
That in a sense, we have similar, if we're all empathetic with each other, we have similar desires for what we want to see in the world and humanity. And
exactly. And that's the other thing too. I mean, I like to toss out empathy as well, because not just like ethics, empathy is not something that you see around these days. It's really not. But it's, particularly in our business, is what makes us really good at acting, is because empathy allows you to see from every character's point of view, depending on whether you're playing, quote, the bad guy, from their point of view. They're not playing a bad guy. They're playing who they are.
Yes.
So empathy as well, there's a serious lack of it. And again, I mean, going back to Ivana's technique, and that's why I absolutely love her technique, is because she makes it very primal of like just breaking down the script. What is your overall objective? And you have scene objectives that add up to the overall objective, and then you have beats and actions that add up to the scene objectives that add up to the overall objective.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, and it just translates to your everyday life. I mean, this is my goal, this is how I'm going to do it, scene objectives, and this is what I'm doing day to day, beats and actions, to make my scene objectives happen, to make my overall objective happen.
It's those beats and actions we gotta stick on. Yeah, because it's so easy to be like, this is what I'm doing, right? And then if we're not actually executing that day by day, we have a lot of a lot of scenes that just kind of go
Exactly.
But you're really doing a great job of executing that, because you're out there and you're doing what you're talking about. You're living your legend, by having us all be a part of that. So
I mean, well, that's what's most fulfilling for me is, I mean, whether these t-shirts, the brand, anything ever takes off, it doesn't really matter to me. What's most important to me is hearing these stories, sharing these stories, because I know, and I'm gonna hold myself to it. As we know, we have everyone sign the Legend Crew roster on the boards.
Nice.
There's just enough space on the board to fit 1 year's worth of signatures, because 1 week, or one signature per week, 52 weeks in a year, 52 per board.
Wow.
I plan on doing this for as long as humanly possible.
That's great.
And my goal for myself, and I hold myself to it, is to by the day I die, is be able to point out each and every name. This person, this was this person, this is what they were doing, this is what they said. And so that in itself, I mean, is so fulfilling to me. I mean,
absolutely.
Being able to hear and share these stories when, as we're talking about in today's society, there's not enough empathy and ethics, where we don't take the time to listen and get to know.
Exactly. And how really we can connect with people once we do get to know them, It's that could be a film in itself, Legend, and how all these people come together and their stories and everything. Ideas always pop in my head when other people are talking about what their passions are, and I'm it's so unique because everyone's so different, yet they all have this heart to what they're doing. If they really focus on what they can bring to the table, and then each individual concept is interconnected.
Yeah.
So I love that theme.
Because I mean, in the end, we all have something that we want, some dream or passion. We all have it, and so why can't that be the common unifying factor that brings us together? And that.
And the heart.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and also we're going into acting, but I've done episodes with, as I said, real estate agents, psychology majors, neuroscience majors, med students. Very different from actors, but we all have that drive and passion. So again, it's just, I love it, and I love that it's bringing so many people together, because it's
awesome.
It's someone told me by the time we reach our age, mid 20s to 30s, you're gonna have met about 1,000 people in your lifetime. So between the two of us, if you multiply that, 1,000 people, in theory, that's about 1 million people in extension. And if you add a third person to that, then that's 1 billion. And so it just shows by bringing together 3 people all these different avenues of reaching out to so many other people, you know?
And just being online, like the whole online presence, it's just like reaches so many more people, and it's just all these people sharing and trying to keep that real by actually like meeting up with people face to face and talking to them, and you know.
And so I mean, I was when I dropped the launch video for Legend Ethics March 21st of this year, one of the segments in there, one of the segments in there was pursuing your dream, doing what fulfills you at heart. And these kids are driving me crazy, but
they're pursuing their dream.
They're pursuing their dream. So I should get them I should give them t-shirts, But it's pursuing your dream and passion wholeheartedly, but then also giving back. I mean, doing good, creating a lasting legacy, creating a positive impact of some kind. And so I love that you're doing that. I mean, through your acting career, I mean, you've started your own business that has a very positive, ethical kind of message to it. And I mean, I'm wishing you the best of luck with that. I mean, I'm hoping it really does, just
take off.
And I mean, well, spreads the message really. And the biggest thing,
everything in my life, like there's just, like you said, legacy. My legacy is about heart. It's about having love and respect for humanity, the environment, ourselves, everything.
That's awesome. I love it. Thank you very much for sharing that,
Sophia.
Thank
you.
So what would be a tip that you can give the viewers in terms of chasing their dreams?
I would say
you're gonna be remembered for this. Make it a good one.
Oh, wow.
No pressure.
I'm like thinking about everyone legendary that said something in their lives about that. But I would say if you can just live from your heart, like I was saying, in every way, as tough as it is, just to constantly go back to that. And because we all have somewhere within ourselves those feelings that relate to each other, then we're all striving towards the same purpose, whether it's whatever we're pursuing in our lives, but also that we can expand a little bit more for each other and for our planet, so that we can all stay alive, take care of our planet, because that's important for our survival and living our legacies.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I like that. Well, it's like together we're legendary.
Yes.
Together we rise.
Yeah. We do.
Yeah. That's awesome. So any final thoughts or anything else you want to share before we wrap up this episode?
Just that I'm very grateful to be a part and spend the day chatting about, what we both stand for and how that interrelates.
Very cool. Thank you very much, Sophia.
Yes,
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, guys. Well, you don't have a website yet, but as soon as she has a website, I'll be sure to share that with you guys as well.
Yeah.
But until then, I'll be sharing her Instagram and stuff like that, so you can stay up to date with everything that she's working on. Because like I said, she does post a lot about it, and so reach out to her if you want to learn more. Because that's like I said, I wanted to know more. So thank you very much for sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah.
And be sure to check out legendethics.com to get your tees worn by each of the guest stars. I love watching you guys sport the shirts. It's really awesome, and I appreciate the support so much.
Yes, absolutely.
And be sure to check out my Instagram as well. Stay up to date with my acting career and stuff like that. And again with hers as well, because she's on all over the place, so busy, but it's
we
great.
have to work together.
Yeah, exactly.
Create
We're gonna
some
have to
acting stuff.
do a project together. Yeah, we'll get Scott in there again, and Kian, and Maxine, and get a whole bunch of people in there.
That would be great.
And other than that, be sure to like and subscribe to hear for more awesome, legendary guest stars such as Sophia over here. And other than that, let's build the Legend Crew, guys. Let's keep it going.
Awesome. Cool.